You would not recognize county lines if it was happening to a child you knew right now. I can prove it. Because I have sat across from parents, good parents, attentive parents, parents who loved their children deeply, and watched their faces change as I explained what had been happening to their child right under their roof for months. None of them saw it coming, not one. And the reason they didn't see it coming is because everything they thought they knew about how this works was wrong. So let me show you what it actually looks like from the inside, because I have seen it more times than I can count, and I need you to understand this. I want to tell you about a boy I worked with. I am going to call him Jay. Jay was 14. Funny, sharp, the kind of kid who could make an entire room laugh without even trying. His teacher said he was one of the brightest in his year when he bothered to show up. That last part is important, when he bothered to show up. By the time I met Jay, he had been excluded from school twice, was barely attending, and had a group of new friends his mom had never met. New trainers, new phone, coming home late, vague about where he had been. His mom thought it was a phase. It was not a phase. Now here is what I need you to understand before I go any further. When most people picture county lines, they picture something obvious, a dangerous-looking stranger, a dark alley, some clear moment where a child makes a bad decision and walks into a criminal world. That's not how it works. It starts with loneliness. Jay's dad had left when he was 11. His mom was working 2 jobs. He had too much time, too little supervision, and a quiet but growing feeling that he didn't really matter to anyone. And then Marcus showed up. Marcus was 24. He dressed well. He had a car. He played football with the younger boys on the estate at weekends, like he was just a friendly older guy with nothing better to do. He started paying specific attention to Jay, telling him he had potential, buying him food, listening to him, being present in a way that almost no adult in Jay's life was managing to be at that point. Over 4 months, Marcus became the most important adult in Jay's life, and then one day he asked Jay to do him a favor. Just drop something off across town, an hour of his time, £50. Jay said yes. Of course he said yes. This was someone he trusted completely, someone who had spent 4 months making him feel valued and seen and worth something. That was the moment, that one favor. What followed was calculated and deliberate and relentless. More favors, more money, gifts, the trainers, the phone, longer distances, overnight stays in towns Jay had never been to, and then the debt. Jay was told, casually, almost as an afterthought, how much everything had cost. The food, the clothes, the phone. He owed thousands. And there was only one way to pay it back. By the time I got involved, Jay had been traveling 2 hours away, every few days, carrying packages he had been told never to open. He was sleeping in the flat of a vulnerable adult whose address had been taken over, alone, in a town he didn't know, terrified of what would happen if he stopped. When I first sat with him, he didn't look like a victim. He looked guarded, closed off, like someone who had learned very quickly that trust always came with a price. It took weeks to get through. The moment that changed everything came when I stopped asking him about the county lines and started asking him about his life, his football, what he wanted to be, what things had looked like before all of this. He talked for an hour, and at the end he went quiet and said, I just wanted someone to think I was worth something. That is county lines in one sentence. These are not bad kids making bad choices. These are children with gap in them. A gap created by absence, by poverty, by a system that was not there when it should have been, and predators who stopped the gap and filled it with terrifying precision. Jay was referred as a victim of modern slavery. We fought to keep a criminal charge off his record. We got him into a specialist support program. Marcus was never charged with anything. That is the reality. The child carries the consequence. The man who built the whole operation walks away. If you know a young person who has new things you cannot Explain. New older friends you have never met who is going missing or coming home at odd hours. Do not assume it's a phase. Ask the questions. Make the call. Because the window to get them out closes faster than you think. And they cannot get themselves out alone.